How goes the family? Welcome back to Larry's Anything Goes. It's been a minute since I've had my little rant like this, and here we go. Now, if you've ever seen my videos, you know I am not a big fan of the media whatsoever. No matter, it could be Fox News, it could be CNN, it could be MSNBC. At this point, it just really doesn't matter. A lot of propaganda is put out toward, to people to make them feel a certain kind of way. And I think and the biggest thing for me is, for anyone, you're going to have your opinion about whatever opinion you're going to have in regards to any specific situation, any specific subject matter. It doesn't really matter. But I will say, the adult thing to do is to get the experience on your own before you formalize a specific opinion. A great example, movie critics. I've never read a movie critic post, article, etc. and so forth. And I know people that, that work within the entertainment industry, that they take these things seriously. There's nothing wrong with that. But when it boils down to the kind of movies I like, it matters what I think. Now, what the rest of society thinks, I don't really care. But what I think when it comes to the movies I want to watch matters. When it comes to television shows I want to watch matters. Even though I don't get to really do much of that nowadays. But my point is, at the end of the day, is be the adult, and I'm talking to the adults here, formalize your own opinion, okay, and go from there. It's like when people say, don't go to this part of town, or, it's dangerous over here, this, that, and the other. Now, I'm not going to say go to a specific war zone, but don't just take somebody's word for it, and, things of that nature, okay? Because the problem is, a lot of people miss out on a lot of great opportunities in life because they're always listening to what somebody else says. It's like listening to gossip columns and things of that nature. If you're always constantly listening to what somebody says, you'll never get to see the world as it really is. You'll just see the way that the world is through somebody else's eyes. And I think that's a miserable existence, to always look at the world through somebody else's eyes. Like, great example, my personal experiences. People told me, never go to Compton, California. I went to Compton, California. It was 4 years ago. It wasn't a bad experience. The hotel I stayed at was, kind of sucked. But it wasn't a bad experience. I didn't feel like I was in danger of my life or anything of that nature. Okay. Going to a specific part of Houston when I had Airbnb, it's where Beyonce grew up at. And I didn't realize it because, I don't know the city of Houston. I went down to visit my cousin and some friends. This is about 2 years ago in 2000. Matter of fact, it was 3 years ago in 2017, and it was, it wasn't the best area to reside in, but it wasn't the worst either. And people actually spoke to me and said hello. And, it was a good experience. I got to go to some mom and pop restaurants, and, I checked out downtown Houston, and, like any other major city, it has the good, bad, and the ugly. That's why I would say all major cities, there's no such thing as a perfectly clean major city anywhere in the world, not just in the United States, but just the world. All right. And then people miss out on the opportunity to go to a foreign country because they're being told by the media or by other people to never go because of X, Y, Z. But yet the thing is, and this is especially for my 2020 people, I'm not going to talk about 20 years ago or 30 years ago, but this is for my 2020 family and beyond. If you see corporations are significantly and safely can invest in a specific country, then I think it's safe enough. If it's safe enough for them to visit that country, I'll just say this, because I'm not a world traveler, at least not yet. But if it's safe enough for the corporation to go to that country and do business, then obviously it should be safe enough for you to go at least check it out on your own. Now, obviously, if it's a war-torn country and literally people are being killed on a regular basis, obviously it's not in your best interest. Because I remember years ago, these idiots were hiking through Iraq, and they ended up in Iran, and they ended up getting locked up. Unlike these two female reporters years ago were, in China, and then they somehow, some way, they mysteriously found their way in North Korea, and they ended up in jail like idiots. So, it's one thing to be curious and whatnot, but if you're going to try to enter a foreign country, especially a country that has very strict rules and regulations, a country that's possibly at war, you might want to go to their embassy and see how you can go about doing it the legal way. And that's all I can say from that. And I'm not giving any, I'm not saying, go to the foreign country. I'm saying go to the embassy, go to your embassy first and then go to their embassy and then work it out. But that's just my personal opinion on that one. All right. Now, the reason why I have this picture up, I know I've been going on my rant, but this is my rant. This picture up from one of my favorite movies, Training Day. Denzel Washington, Ethan Hawke. Okay. The movie starts out right here in this scene. Ethan Hawke is a rookie being out in the streets, and he has a training day, one day to prove if he can make it on this specific team because he wants to get promoted. All right. Now, this scene you see Denzel Washington holding up his newspaper and whatnot. And Ethan Hawke kept basically interrupting Denzel Washington when he was trying to read his newspaper. And Denzel Washington was like, okay, you want to talk? Tell me a story. He's like, what do you mean? He's like, well, see, I'm reading this because, 90% of it is BS. But you know what? It entertains me. And that's why I enjoy it with my morning cup of coffee. All right. But given the fact that you can't sit there for 10 minutes and not disturb me to do that, why don't you tell me a story? Because I need some form of entertainment. All right. Now, the main reason why I picked this is because a lot of what the media puts out is a lot of nonsense half the time. That's unfortunate. And a lot of it is, like I said, what you digest on a regular basis, whether it's food, information, and media, if it's constantly bad for you, like if you eat fast food, I'm not just gonna pick on McDonald's. If you eat fast food constantly, then you might not be in the best of health in the future. I'm not a doctor, but I'm just saying. Watch that documentary. I think it was, I forgot what it was, but it was the documentary about the guy that ate McDonald's and how his health was deteriorating. I thought it was The Biggest Loser, but it's not. But anyway, or Super Size Me, I think that was the name of it. Yeah, but and this is the same thing when it comes to media. If you're constantly, and even myself, I have to, I listen to a lot of YouTubers and things of that nature. Myself, I have to cut out all the negative stuff and just watch something that's positive or just watch something that's funny, because if it's always constantly negative energy, then that's what you're going to attract and whatnot. And if you're always in fear is no way to live. That's why a lot of people leave their home countries that are war torn, because they're living in dangerous areas and are war torn and they're in constant fear. That's no way for any human being to live. So they come to a country like Canada, the United States, Europe, or other parts of the continent that they reside in, other parts of the Middle East, other parts of Asia, other parts of Africa, other parts of Central South America, other parts of the Caribbean, to look for a better life. Okay, but that's how I look at it on that one. Okay, but life is meant for people to get experiences. Life is, especially within today's world, life is not meant for one to just live in a cage and stay in the comfort zone and only see one part of the world because somebody else told them to. There's a lot more people are looking at parts of Africa, Ghana in particular, South Africa in particular, Nigeria in particular, because they want to, even Kenya, Zambia, Senegal. I mean, the list goes on. And it's because people are they're tired of listening to what the media tells them about these places. They want to see it for themselves, and I could not agree with that more. I think if you really want to know something, you do your own research. Doesn't mean, are you supposed to put yourself in harm's way? Absolutely not. But no matter where you are in the world, the moment you step out of your home, you have a chance of being put in a harm's way. That's why everybody, especially nowadays with the Corona-19, everybody's on guard a lot, and things of that nature. So that's my whole thing. If you're going to live a life of prosperity, and if you're going to live a good life, then I believe you need to have your own experiences. Okay? Don't just take everybody's word for it. Darn sure don't just take what MSNBC, CNN, and Fox News and anybody else has to say. Because they have their agenda, because they are a corporate network and they know what gets clicks, and they know what, just like you have a lot of people on YouTube that they talk about things that they know that's going to get a lot of clickbait, as they call it. Like me, I don't talk about Cardi B and Meg Thee Stallion and stuff like that, ratchet stuff that's going to get clicks and whatnot because people are interested in. No, I'm not. I'm going to give things from my perspective, and that's why I go live on every Thursday to get other people's perspective. And hopefully you guys join me. Definitely go live with my brother from another mother, Chris, and hopefully Adrian, another brother from another mother. And then we're doing this Saturday. We're doing the first time economic monsters podcast show. We're going to have a lot of discussions, and we're going to have different perspectives outside of mine. But I decided to do this rant today because unfortunately bad news was released today about the whole Breonna Taylor situation. And I don't really care what anybody thinks what happened. My personal opinion, it was wrong. Okay, I think there should have been something done for things like that took place, and I leave it at that. The good cops is bad cops, and in this situation, my personal opinion, they screwed up. But I leave it at that. But I make this video because a lot of bad media is going to be put out. I know there's protests going on. I know there's going to be a lot of negative vibes all over the Twitter sphere, Facebook, Instagram, you name it, it's going to be out there. YouTube, there's going to be a lot of negativity surrounding this. A lot of negativity, unfortunately. There's been settlements, there's been a lot of things that took place, and it's like I said, we are heading to some interesting times in 2021. No matter what the election, whichever way it swings, we're heading towards some interesting time. I will say this, and I'm not making any money off it when I say this. Buy the book, The War on Normal People. It will change your perspective. And by Andrew Yang, who ran for president, did not win. But it really will change your perspective in regards to where the world is heading. Okay? Where the world really is right now. I think COVID-19 has really intensified this. And I don't think there's any real media outlet that's talking about the fact that, we already know the former version of retirement is a thing of the past where you actually work for an organization for 20 to 30 years and you get a pension for the rest of your life. That's gone out the window. Now we have 401ks. But I don't think that's going to be enough for regular working people. That's why I always talk about assets. How are you making your money? How are you saving your money? And how are you investing your money? Not just with your 401k. That's great to have. Add on to that. Okay, maybe you buy a piece of property in a state where you can pay off the house and it's cheap. The property taxes are way less. There's no income state tax, and then your money can carry you a lot further. Thinking about it on that level. You have other people that are thinking on other levels where their retirement plan is in other parts of the world. It could be in Mexico, El Salvador. It could be in Puerto Rico. It could be in Dominican Republic. It could be in Cuba. It could be in Ghana. It could be in South Africa. A lot of Europeans are retiring in Asia and in Africa. So I think, because a lot of parts of Europe are too expensive to retire in. So I think my prediction is within the next 20, 30 years, a lot of Americans are going to start, they're not retiring, because you already have a migration of more Americans that are moving to the States where it's cheaper to live. Not even just in the South, but in the Midwest. Particularly in the South, because of the no state income tax, one, and then two, because of the lower cost of living. Okay, and people need that, when you get up in age, you're not trying to be punching the clock and killing yourself, forever and a day. You want to be able to live a little bit more of a comfort life, and you have a lot of young people who are retiring themselves, either because they have their own online platforms, they have their own businesses, and then I think there's going to be that silent minority of people who are going to go to the Caribbean, Central South America, and go to Africa, and go to Asia, and retire there. And I think it's going to be the norm of having. It's been the norm of having a lot of people, the world, come to America. My prediction is within the next 30 years, you might have America going to the rest of the world. Not saying America's a bad place. Not saying anything derogatory about the way that America's being run, because I think America's a great country. A lot of great things. But I think for those who don't have a mindset of assets accumulation, for those that just have a mindset of 40 hours a week and that's it, they're the ones that are going to unfortunately be the losers economically if they don't have a plan outside of 40 hours a week. That's all I'm saying. Because like I said, there's a lot of great things going on, especially technology-wise is going on in the United States right now. My gosh, I mean, the things that the Elon Musks are doing, and the tech companies. I mean, they're creating a lot of great things. They're making life a lot much more easier for people from a virtual standpoint. So a lot of, and then like you have the internet cafes in places like San Francisco and the whole Bay Area and whatnot. I think that's going to grow more, and I think that's a beautiful thing. I think you're going to, especially if you look at where the school system is now, you're actually preparing people to just get used to being on a computer for hours and hours out of the day and whatnot, and they're gonna you're gonna have those not only just internet cafes and whatnot, but they call them work. It's kind of like a co-op workspaces, yeah, where you're gonna have more and more companies purchase or leasing or purchasing commercial lots, but the buildings, but they're going to actually be utilizing them for place. They're gonna more and more self-employed companies or people who only have 2 or 3 employees are going to actually share buildings and whatnot so that they can save money in regards to the leases and whatnot. So this is going to be more and more of the new norm. It's not a phenomenon, but it's going to be more of the new norm. And I think that's an interesting thing that's happening in the United States right now. Very interesting. All right. But like I said, that's another thing I don't think that the media is talking about. These are the things that, your everyday working American cares about: being able to pay their bills, access to health care, access to capital, I would hope, and, be comfortable and whatnot. And I just, so it's like, if you're not talking about that, and I think a lot of the rest of the information that's being discussed is just a lot of noise, okay, that most people don't want to hear. So that's why they're like, hey, man, I'm going to watch the game. I get it. I'm going to watch some YouTube like me. I get it. You know what I mean? Because I don't need I want to find the content that speaks to me, who I am as a person, my values, and what, And a lot of people feel like watching Fox News and CNN and MSNBC holds on to their values and who they are. And if that's who you are, then that's awesome. We're all different, and the world is a better place because we're all different. It'd be a very boring world if we were all the same. I can say that definitely with sincerity, okay? But I've had a kind of a premonition within the last 4 years of my life in regards to the media. And anytime I walk into a room with the news on, it's like either it's got to be on mute or you got to turn it because I don't want to hear it. Because my mindset is, if you're always constantly digesting McDonald's dollar menu food, then you're not going to be in the best shape mentally. Okay. And I look at a lot of what the media produces, not all, but a lot of what they produce is like getting food from the dollar menu. Now, I'm not trying to be a snooty eater or anything of that nature, but I do, the older I get, I do try to take care of myself, health-wise and whatnot. I try to eat as best as I can. So I don't buy the brand new shirts or the brand new shoes, but I definitely ensure that I get the fruits and vegetables that I need to ensure that I'm the best me that I can be from a health perspective. Okay. Now, that is basically it at the end of the day. I'm not trying to trash the media or things of that nature, but I am saying that if you want to have a better, healthy life, you cannot constantly digest negative information. You cannot digest bad food, and you cannot constantly be around bad and negative people. Okay? Because my mindset is if you're around people that are not on the I want to grow and prosper level. And growing and prospering is so many levels to it. It's not just about getting a degree. It's not just about opening a business. It's not just about looking fancy and whatnot. But you definitely want to be around people who have a growth mindset, okay? Who don't want to be in the same, we're not in the 1950s anymore where a person lives in one community and that's it. They live in that community their whole freaking lives, or they live in this one country. And people are more, mobile than people will give them credit for. I will say that with sincerity. People are very mobile. COVID-19 has put a stop to that, but I see people, as more and more countries open up, people are becoming more and more mobile once again. People want to get out and people want to do things. And if they have to have face masks and sanitizer, then so be it. But I don't see how you could really be mobile and global with your life if you are constantly digesting information that's going to keep you in fear. I just don't see that how anybody can be prosperous if they're constantly in fear. And that's my whole thing about the media. And hey, if you got articles that point out something positive, because the majority of the times when I see positive articles, it's usually from Black Enterprise Magazine or We Buy Black or these other outlets that aren't quote unquote national and whatnot like that. I think every now and then I see maybe something positive on NPR. All news is biased, so that's why it's like I don't trip off of that. But yeah, it's like, every now and then there's an outlet that just promotes nothing but good positivity, and we need that. And I know media clickbait it's all about the negativity. It's all about the scandal. It's all about, that's why freaking stupid reality TV shows are very popular even to this day. I don't know why, but I'll leave that alone, because people like to watch drama. I get it. I'm not an idiot. I understand. And the media is going to promote what sells because they are in business. That's why they call it the media business. So I get it. They're in business. I'm not throwing any shade at that. You got to make your money. You got to get your profits. You got to do what you got to do. It's the American way, and it's a beautiful thing. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay. But my mindset is I'm really speaking to the people that digest this information. I'm like, what is it really doing for you? Is it really making you a better person? Is it really bringing joy to your life and prosperity? Especially to my people that are older. Look, I'm 37, going to be 38 in a couple months. I'm talking to my people that are in their 40s, 50s, and 60s and whatnot. Does this really bring joy to your life to hear negativity all the time and to be in fear? I just need to know. Because when I wake up in the morning, I want to be motivated, man. And I want to listen to stuff that motivates me. That's why whether I'm going to the gym, I'm going to work, I'm listening to something that motivates me and whatnot. Whether it's music, whether it's a podcast, I'm listening to something that motivates me. When I read my books, because I'm still old school, I like to read. When I read my books in the morning, in the evening, and at night and whatnot, I'm reading something, even if it might have some negativity involved with it, there's some prosperity at the end of the story or in the middle of the story, but there's prosperity somewhere. So I'm all about the prosperity. All right. Now, that's all she wrote on that one. Hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video. It's been a while since I've done a rant like this with me off camera, but I just had this on my chest and I figured I had to, I needed to address this. So definitely rest in peace to Breonna Taylor and all the others who have unfortunately been killed to any sort of violence. That's why I said we want joy and peace in this life. That's all we want. And you got to do what you got to do. So there's a big world out here. Learn how to look outside of the box, family. Because a lot of times when I talk to people, they are stuck in this one box that they've been put in. And I always say it's because they say this, and I can't stand this saying, well, this is all I know. No, in the information age, this is all you want to know. That's my only point. So like, share, and subscribe, family, and I will definitely see you guys later. Take care.